Good? Alright. So, like I was saying, my everyday hero, Pastor Bauer, he just an extremely humble person in the way that he approaches topics, approaches even confrontation, or even situations where I've watched people disagree with him, and he's just the most gracious, where I find myself really quickly ready to like defend myself. And so he's very humble in just the way that he talks with people. And so now I'm going to move on to my plan. So my academic plan, I'm a communications major and individualized studies minor. And so I'm going to be completing both those in December. I got my individualized studies minor, I just changed to it so that I could get classes that were more tailored towards what I wanted to do in the future, so with ministry. So I'll get to take different classes based on different things I think they'll help me with in the future with ministry and stuff like that. So then I'm going to move on to seminary, hopefully in the next 2 years, get my Master's of Divinity. I don't know where yet, but that's going to get worked out soon, so I'm excited. But I'll look to do that, so it'll be a few years there. Then moving on to my professional future, I'm hoping to do an internship this summer at my home church back in the cities so that I can then work at home, and so that'll be good. That'll be a couple months long, and then I'll get to also do an internship with a church while I'm at seminary. And so when I'm doing that, it'll be a good time. So I'm excited for that. Then as a pastor in the future, I'm looking at either being a youth pastor, assistant pastor, or head pastor. I really haven't decided at all yet, but I guess whatever God opens the door for. So I'm excited for that. We'll see how it turns out. Future challenges within this role as a person within any kind of ministry, really, you're going to face social challenges. The first ones that came to my mind were racial division, there's gender equality issues, there's gender identification issues, same-sex marriage, and then abortion were some ones I thought of where either the Bible lays out pretty clear things on a lot of those that we take a stance on as Christians, and yet society might kind of have a different view on those. So being careful to not attack people in an unloving or unkind way, but at the same time speaking the truth in love. And so being able to talk about those differences, those issues, and just working through those challenges with other people is going to be hard, but at the same time I look forward to it, so that'll be good. Also multicultural issues. I think racial division is found within the church as well as in society, and so I think that's going to be one that's going to come up a lot in the next years to come. And so I'm doing research on that right now for another course, so I've been able to look into that quite a bit. And then also differences of beliefs just from cultural backgrounds. So people might come from different families, different denominations, and whatever that may be, they might find themselves in the church that I'm at. And so being able to walk through those challenges, talk with people, maybe even talk with people who are from different cultural backgrounds that aren't Christians. And so being able to relate with them, but at the same time, being willing to stand up and say truth to them. So I think those are going to be challenges, but I think that they'll push me and grow me in a lot of ways. As an educated person in the future, I see myself in different areas of family, financial, and professional relationships. And so family, as a father, as a husband, I know that as an educated person, I'm going to need to learn how to do different things. I need to be a good husband. I need to learn how to be a good father. I need to learn how to effectively point those people towards God and towards different things that are good and even better than me. And so I need to be able to learn how to do those things and do those roles effectively. Also, financially, I know there's a lot of things that I don't know yet for how to pay for different things in my family, how to provide for a family. Those are all going to be new things, but as I continue, I can learn more about those and do better at those throughout the process. And then moving on to just professionally as a pastor and teaching other people, that those things are going to be important to be educated on, to be able to continue learning how to teach people underneath me, teach people alongside me, and just be beneficial for those people rather than assuming that I know things or just being complacent where I'm at. So those things are going to be important. Also the Erikson theory and how that relates to me. The Erikson theory is a bunch of different stages that you'll go through. So it starts at infancy and then it'll end as you're older, retired, and towards the later stage of your life. So within that range, I land towards the middle, which is I think 18 to 35 years old, intimacy versus isolation. And so that kind of talks about how either you desire intimacy or you desire isolation from people. And so at this time in my life, I know I desire intimacy with people in relationships, and I love relationships, and so I can definitely see that. I don't like being isolated from people, and so recognizing that, I think it gives me a really good opportunity to desire to be loved by other people, but at the same time being able to reach out and love other people. And so when I get that, I get to be able to also look for the people who are being isolated by themselves and trying to be away from everyone, maybe because they're uncomfortable or feel like they don't fit, and trying to pull them into an intimate relationship, either with me or just with other friends that I can connect them with. And so I think that's a really important thing, and I'm thankful for the theory to kind of help me to recognize that and being able to look at that in a different way. So then I'm just going to finish up with 2 stories from the textbook. The first story is just about a basketball coach who said, "Don't be afraid to fail." And so that was on page 76 in the textbook, but he just talked about to his players, don't be afraid to fail, because then you're never actually going to take that opportunity. And so when you are out there, whatever you're doing, if you're afraid to fail, you're going to be constricted. You're going to be like fearful all the time of going out there and saying something wrong, doing something wrong. And so I really resonated with that, because in ministry, you're not going to do everything perfect. And I've heard that from so many different pastors and church leaders, and then as a father, as a husband, I'm not going to be perfect. And so I just know that like that story is so it's just simple. It applies to everyone. And so to go out there, work hard, pursue God, pursue people, love people, but then at the same time recognize you are going to fail, learn from those things, and keep going. And then the second story was everyone is your teacher. And so right now I'm in college. Sometimes I don't always agree with everything that teachers say, but as I keep going, I know that once I hit seminary, I'm going to have to learn from more people, and then once I'm out, I'm going to be learning from people that are alongside me, that are under me, that are above me, in different roles that they play. And even right now, just friends, and even I work at the YMCA, and those people, there's little kids every day that teach me stuff about me, about them, and just about life in general. So those things have been definitely beneficial. Those stories related really well to just what I'm pursuing in my life. And just all of it is just to be an active learner, to continue not being complacent. And so I think that those stories related to that really well, and just this whole reflecting on myself and my idea of a scholarly person, those things were all just really helpful to look at in my own life. And so hopefully you guys have a little bit better understanding of me and just the scholarly person attributes and things that I talked about today. So thanks for joining me. Isn't that a story?
That was
I was like 2. No.
Yeah, right.